Good day, and Mukta, thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure to see you again. And I'm glad you are enjoying Hong Kong, and I'm calling in from your old city of Singapore at the moment. I'm looking forward to the conversation today as we sort of kick off the Enterprise of Tomorrow conversations that we believe will sort of add value to our learning and our viewers' learning as we sort of move forward. To introduce Mukta, she currently is heading HR for Societe Generale, one of Europe's leading financial services institutions, and brings to her role a great experience, having worked in multiple geographies, looking after a variety of functions across the talent agenda, especially in learning, and having worked as well in the advertising agency and conglomerates in India earlier. So Mukta, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Prithvi. I'm happy to be here and sharing my views with you.
Great. So one of the things that I have been amazed with is how the HR profession is possibly taking the lead in
Mhm.
shaping what we are seeing enterprises of tomorrow be. And we are keen to sort of learn from you as a practitioner some of the specific practices and perspectives that you have experienced in the last year and beyond, and what which
Mhm.
you think will be more and more relevant for us to sort of think about in the future. One of the areas that has sort of fascinated me in term is really how the purpose and goals that people sort of align themselves to drive their productivity and performance. um, Deloitte actually, I was reading somewhere, did some research that says that the people who are more satisfied or more committed to that purpose tend to report at least 30% level of higher innovation and about 40% level higher of workforce retention than their competitors. So I wanted to sort of spend some time with you that to validate if this research is credible with your experience and whether you have actually seen this impact performance and productivity in the context that you have operated in. So I thought I'll start by asking you,
Mhm.
what is the purpose that you have articulated or seen articulated by leaders in your company and in your network, and how did they ensure alignment for teams to that in the past? And as you see in the future, how do you see that as being something that people will do?
Yeah, thanks, Prithvi. It is a very relevant questions in today's day and age. Not only personal purpose but corporate purpose. So, just to give you a background, Societe Generale was created over 150 years ago to promote the development of trade and industry, and that was our original purpose: to be a bank that promoted progress. Now, this year we have recalibrated our purpose. So our purpose for Societe Generale, which was unveiled by our chief executive of the group, was building together with our clients a better and sustainable future through responsible and innovative financial solution. Now, for us, we have always sought to help develop the global economy over the long run through innovative solution, and we are focusing a lot on sustainable and responsible solutions. So ESG, as you hear, is quite a hot topic, and we have also paid a lot of attention to it in the past few years, and we are solidifying it. Now, for me, it is quite important that the purpose that we have, it reverberates, or the employees are able to see that in their day-to-day life. Now, when we defined our purpose this year, it was based on 85,000 contribution collected from staff across the world. So we have roughly around 130,000 employees. And when we did that, what we try to do is we cascade it, of course, through communication to employees, but it's also in the work that we do. So, for example, when we are financing, some of the companies, we do look at whether they are also looking at a better and sustainable future. So that is quite important for us. So it's not only for employees, but it's also with clients. So it is seen in the action which is there. When we talk to employees, or when employees see their day-to-day work, they also see whether the words that are there in print, as part of our purpose, whether the senior leaders, whether the people who are dealing with clients, whether our managers, whether they are living that. So walking the talk is quite important. It's not an easy thing, to convert purpose into action, which everybody can see. It's a journey, but I do think that we see many actions which support the purpose that we have right now for Societe Generale.
Excellent. No, I think it's it's always good in times of turbulence and challenge to sort of refresh and rejuvenate the organization. And it's interesting that you recently announced this for Society Generale, and I think the what I hear you say is the role of leadership sort of really amplifies when you need to show that line of sight between
Yeah.
purpose and action. And I completely agree with you. It's easier to talk about it than to actually demonstrate the walk that delivers the results that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And I think any organization that is investing in that, clearly will do well. I think as you make that transition from purpose to action, the other area that has intrigued us, and that we are very curious about, is how leaders reach decisions. With data being available in the sort of quantum that we have started seeing it come out at, how is analytics being used to actually deliver the insight to individuals to make decisions about what actions to take related to the purpose that you have assigned to them, or the goals that they are sort of carrying. I was reading somewhere that the value of decision making and insight and analytics that has been added to the economy in the last year alone is in the
Mhm.
region of about 9 to 15 trillion dollars in annual economic value, as calculated by McKinsey, given the increased usage that they are seeing by people of analytics to help in some of the difficult decisions that have been facing us, especially in the as enterprises have dealt with outbreaks. You being in a financial services institution,
Yeah.
data is sort of your primary element of work as well. How are
Yes.
leaders using this? How have you invested in this usage of data and analytics to build better value from the insights that are there? And more specifically, what are some of the key questions from a talent perspective that you've sort of looked at building more insight on to help
Mhm.
people reach the best decisions as they sort of traverse into the future?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we are financial services, and in Asia Pacific, we are mostly corporate and investment banking. So for us, yeah, data is the currency. We do have a lot of engineers, who work with us and who are comfortable with data, etc. So we have been working on it for some time now, and more progressively, on a global basis, investing a lot in this field, because for us, data enables us to provide better services to our client, or more innovative things to our clients. So yeah, it has been worked on. We really see it as something which is an enabler, for us, for future, and to transform the banking industry. As you know, it is going to be transformed, or it is already in transformation phase right now. We are hiring data scientists. I mean, the engineers that we have are in effect actually data scientists. They were not labeled as such, but we are also investing in this particular field. So in HR specifically, we started the data analytics team almost 3 years ago in the region, where we have dedicated resource. I mean, we started with very few resource, but we have progressed well in terms of analytics. how do we help? It is, I would say that it's progressing. We are still not into a stage where it is more predictive, but at least you have data integrity, you have data which is clean, you are able to make sense out of it, and then we are able to actually help our leaders make decisions related to what is our talent landscape right now, what is the health of it right now on different criteria, and if we want to go to the next stage, what we need to do. So for us, I think at this point of time, this is what it is helping us. What we want to do in future is being more predictive and maybe using more sophisticated data analysis tool to make sure that the decision that we make about people while recruiting, while inducting them, while succession planning, uh, it is much more objective, yeah, and it has less subjectivity. I mean, subjectivity will never go away, but at least
Mm.
we make it more objective. So that's the aim that we have. It's initial stages for us in talent, for example, to use this, but I'm very hopeful that we should be able to make strides pretty soon in this.
No, I think the fact that you invested in this early will will pay off in the long run, because I don't think, this is a journey that you can truly, accelerate. And the fact that your foundations are already strong, it's a good place to be. I think that the challenge is always that everybody is looking to sort of look around the corners and see what is
Mm-hmm.
going to happen. So I would, it's interesting to see how, who could have seen what the future looks like. But I believe what we are starting to see now is really enterprises of tomorrow will actually be making decisions much more based on what they predict, rather
Mm-hmm.
than what has happened. And one of the things that is leading to sort of tease up my next and last question, which is
Mm-hmm.
really around the conversation around the skills that people need. You talked about
Mm-hmm.
a lot of your engineers having data science skills. Similarly, I'm seeing almost in all domains and all professions the conversation around reskilling, upskilling, cross skilling, and the importance of that. And I think
Mm-hmm.
the last year has sort of amplified the need for individuals to take responsibility for their own careers.
Yes.
So I wanted to sort of get a sense of what are some of the practices and technologies that you have introduced to enable individuals to take on that personal responsibility about their learning and to chart their own career paths as they sort of move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because the days of that being even shared responsibility, I think, is becoming essential. Otherwise, whether an individual will have opportunities in the future, really there's a lot of pressure on them to make sure that they are ready for what the enterprise of tomorrow will seek. So what have some of the practices or technologies that you have introduced to enable that for individuals in the past?
For us, we always believed in that as an organization, we are there to support the learning journey of employees, but they have to take charge themselves. Yeah. So what you said is right. We have been doing that actually for some time. What we did, and we were actually moving towards the digital mode for quite a few years. It was a slow progress. We had already, for example, even before this year started, we had planned for rolling out of 14 different learning platforms which are digital, for our employees. Since in APAC we have 12 different markets, and we wanted to make sure that the offers that we have are consistent. So we did that, and we also make sure that we are not prescriptive to employees. We added a number of skill related topics, like for example data science or coding, etc., for employees. Now what we make very clear to employees and their managers is that they are the ones who have to really decide what is it that they need, because there are so much available, on the net. People can learn on their own quite a lot. What we try to do is we curate the content which we feel will help the organization and help the employees. So our role is that, more as a facilitator,
Okay.
more as a content curator, which is meaningful, for the organization. So this is what we have offered to employees. We have seen that employees during this time, when a lot of them were working from home or in remotely working, etc., a lot of them also got time to think about their own learning journeys, their own career. And some of them, frankly, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised that they came up on their own to discuss about what is it that they can do, what is it that they want to learn, good suggestions about what we should introduce, later. Um, in addition, we also had to change the mode of delivery, as you can imagine, to virtual for our flagship programs, which were earlier, face to face in Hong Kong, for the entire region. And networking was a major part of it, and people really appreciated that. We moved everything online, and it worked effective. It was very effective, frankly, because now with technology you can try a number of things. You can use collaborative platforms which are there online, with breakout groups and all. It's the conversations are as meaningful as you will have face to face. So things have changed quite a lot, but these are all positive changes, I would think. And I think going forward in the new life that we are going to have very soon, um, this is a positive change, and it also gives us a different perspective, that we can do things in this way. We can have a different way of looking at things. We can have different ways of learning of things. Employees are also looking at it as something that they need to spend time on apart from what they're doing day to day, but it's also your professional career, their priorities in life, whether it's personal or professional. It's a number of things which have come up during this time, and I think it is extremely transforming for all of us. And I think it is positive. It's not something which
No.
has gone down. I think it has gone in the right direction.
No, and that's great to hear. And I think on that optimistic note, as we sort of look forward, I think the enterprises of tomorrow are in good hands in terms of how you are looking at enabling leaders to make the right decisions, and enabling employees to invest in their careers, and delivering to the purpose that your organization is looking at. I'm going to wrap up with the last thought.
Mhm.
As KPI Soft sort of looks to use technology and augmented analytics and AI to really help in this journey for organizations as they sort of build towards what tomorrow looks like. For what would be your last piece of advice for business leaders and HR functional leaders? What is that one thing that you would advise them to do to really strengthen their agenda of what the future of enterprises will look like in tomorrow? What should they invest in? What should they commit to today? As they sort of look at 2021.
My piece of advice will be to be open minded. There are new things which are coming up which have not been tested and tried. So even if they're not tested and tried, if the gut feeling is that it can work, I think we should try it and go for it. The proof of concept, which has been there for a long time, I think is still very good, and we should be more adventurous in trying out new things. It may work, and it may be better than what we are doing. So that's my piece of advice, to be open minded.
Great. Thank you, Mukta. Here's to many more adventures ahead, and I look forward to continuing our conversations in future, and hopefully our paths will continue to cross. Thank you so much for taking the time, and have a great year ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank
Stay
you,
safe.
Prithvi. It was my pleasure. Thank you.